You have another man in the house and you still need me to put groceries in your fridge, I will take my kids. You and that man could struggle by yourself.
The relationship you have on your scenario might be different, but in a normal scenario, like once you hand the 50 over and it's her time, like you can't.
Like it's not a quick scenario. Like it's not okay, lawyer, we need full custody. 6 weeks from now, we now have that kid. No, it is depending on how much scorn that woman has, how much power she actually has, and how much support she can gain from the system.
Then you're not being responsible. You're not giving yourself the chance, and you're not putting in the necessary work to build a relationship with these people. And then as a result, right, like it's expendable. At the same token, you haven't invested enough to sit here and say, you know what, maybe I should stick it out. It's been a certain amount of time. Maybe I'll put in a little bit of work.
All right, here's the scenario, guys. You break up with your wifey. You move out the house. You're out the house, separate houses. You're a separate entity. You guys have equal custody, 50-50. The kids are halfway there, halfway the other way. Should you still support your spouse and the other household, even though you no longer live there? That's the question today on the report.
And the answer is no.
All right. So yeah, that's a solid question. It's kind of like you get separated from wifey or whoever. You're done with her. You've gone through the custody battle. It's 50-50. She doesn't have groceries. Is that your problem?
Can I ask a caveat to that though? Are there other children in the household?
Does it matter? Your kids are there.
No, yeah. No, it matters to me, but are there other children in the household? If no, one set of answers, and if yes, another set of answers.
Well, you know what? Give me both sets of answers. Let's go with this.
No, I think I
know
what his answers are.
But hold on. If there's other children in the house that aren't yours, does that not mean there's another man in the house?
Nigga, just let me finish.
I'm just saying, bro.
Nigga, let me finish.
No, but then the question.
Hold on, Jones. I'm really interested to see the rabbit hole we're about to go down here. Give me both scenarios. So let's start with there are other children in the house.
Then, just like Jones says, there's another nigga to take care of them other kids, and fuck them other kids. That ain't my responsibility.
But your kids are also not you.
No. But that's my point. I said the other kids. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying in this situation is that my kid's gonna eat regardless. I'm gonna make sure to take care of mine and make sure everything else is set at. It's like that guy who showed up with McDonald's for one kid. Mm-hmm. That's me. I have no problem being that person. Why? Because of the fact she chose to be with this other person. I'm not in a relationship anymore. She's got another nigga's dick in her daily.
I don't think that you're really like taking real like a hard look at the question, right? Because the guy he said 50-50, which means the child's with you half the time and with the mother half the time. And let's just say, for your caveat word of the day, that there is another man in the house and his kids are in the house too. Then me as a father, you have another man in the house and you still need me to put groceries in your fridge, I will take my kids. You and that man could struggle by yourself.
Okay, that's another argument.
I will take my child.
I didn't put that into the
You
overall.
know what I mean?
What
like,
I'm saying is
like, listen, from a custody standpoint, because I've gone through this before, custody of my children and If I have my child half of the time, 2 weeks out of every month, my child's with me and my fridge is full, and the other 2 weeks my child's with you and your fridge is empty, then guess where my child's going to be 4 weeks of the fucking month?
Jones, that wasn't the question.
Period.
Why am I putting it for me and my part of the question? I'm just answering that.
Okay, so
but like, why am I putting money on your table? Why am I putting food in your fridge when I could look after my child myself?
But I repeat to you, that's your answer. I'm giving mine.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm trying to give mine for both scenarios. So the first scenario, as I said, fuck her, and my kid is going to eat regardless because I'm going to take care of them in that situation. I'll be the kid. I don't care how it is in a situation. She'll have to figure it out. Or, like you said, I'll take custody of my kid and we won't have to worry about that. The second situation, where it's my kid inside the house full time, I mean, half the time at mine, half the time at hers, it's a situation where I'm going to have to. Because I don't. Can I answer the question for myself, please?
Continue.
It's a situation where I'm going to have to. because in no way, if I don't have control of keeping my kid 50% of the time, and he is going to be there all the time at that point, like he's 50% there. I cannot change that in a situation. So
I guess I have a question to you in both your situations before Jones hops in on this. Why does it matter that there's another guy in the house?
And as I said to you, if there's another person in the house, it means that person, that if it's that other person's kids. It's not my responsibility to raise another man's kids.
So I have a third scenario then. If it's the wifey, your kid, and another guy in the house, are you throwing the cash over then?
No, because of the fact that because at that point in time, I'm not giving her any money. I'm sending goods for my kid. I'm not feeding a household when there's a grown man in there.
So can I throw a caveat for both of you guys? What if the situation was reversed? So for whatever reason, you're living with the woman, you acquire the kids, so you're playing stepdad, right? And for whatever reason, it comes into conversation saying there's an inadequate amount of food. Let's say the first kid's baby dad is like $200,000 a year, so he's making bank, right? And he comes and says, "You know what? I feel like you guys aren't taking care of the kids properly here. How do you feel about that?"
Well, that's his decision. It's not mine. I personally would feel like shit if another man's got to feed me. That's me personally feeling like crap because I'm not doing my job as a man. But that's a whole different discussion. If I'm living in a house and I'm supposed to be stepdaddy and another man has to step up to put me in that situation, I already feel like lesser of a man to begin with. That's just me personally. I'm not talking for everybody's situation.
Can I ask a question?
Yep, go for it.
Why is it if there's another man in the house, you are not going to give the money and you're going to take your child?
No, I never said it.
But if there isn't another man in the house and it's just your ex and your child, then you have to put food in the fridge. Why does it matter? If there's no food in the fridge, I'm taking my child, whether there's a man there or not.
But like as I said to you, bro,
like
I have no control. I repeat to you because y'all didn't let me finish the scenario. As I said, if I have no control of the situation and it is 50-50 split, bro, until that happens, what am I going to do? Let the kids starve till I get 50-50? Till I get full custody?
But
no, I'm asking you.
That's not what
do you
do as a
Guys,
parent.
I have to interject here because
Hold on.
Go ahead.
As a parent, if your fridge is empty for the 2 weeks my child's with you, I'm picking up my child from school.
Then you're
and
violating
I'm bringing
the law.
him home.
Then you're going to end up in jail. You're
No,
violating
you
law.
can't
You
end
won't
up
get
in jail.
custody anyway.
You can't
Because
end up
legally,
in jail.
that's her time with the kid.
No, I'm gonna end up in jail for feeding my child.
Men have.
Oh no,
They have.
bro.
That's what
If
I'm
I
trying to tell
pick
you,
up
bro.
my child and feed my child and then send them back to you, instead of picking up the child from school, you can pick up you can pick up our son from my house. I'm gonna bring him home. I'm gonna feed him. Then you can take him home and put him to bed, and I will do the same thing the next day. But I am not putting food in your fridge.
So unfortunately, in this scenario, Lip is actually correct. So
not taking
once
spite.
the 50%, so when you give over on the 50-50s,
You have no
right?
rights.
The relationship you have on your scenario might be different, but in a normal scenario, like once you hand the 50 over and it's her time, like you can't intervene on that time at all.
Can't pick them up, can't do
Yes,
nothing.
of course, but you can also be responsible because let's go in depth with this. It's
You
not
can
a
drop off
this,
them, yeah.
this is
That's
not
what I'm saying. That's the only
this
choice.
is not a one-dimensional type of question because as a parent that's gone through the system and custody and stuff, I'm telling you, what you have to do as a father is you got to go back to your lawyer and say, I want full custody. And these are the reasons why. And you go get full custody. Like, what do you... The question is, should you support? No, as a father, what you should do is go... If you guys have 50-50 and she can't afford it, then you go back to court and get full custody of your child. Because if you could do 2 weeks out of the month, you could do 4 weeks. You understand what I'm saying? And that is the responsible and proper thing to do. Because I am not going to give you any money.
All right, so give me 1 sec.
And I'm not going to let my
give
child
me a sec,
live
give me a
like
sec.
that. That's it.
Andrew Coley, would you like to rebuttal this?
I'm just going to say that the law doesn't support that. I've watched it happen. multiple times where I've watched fathers go to jail for the exact same scenario you're breaking down. I've watched them pick up their kid from school, hand them McDonald's. The woman is spiteful, calls the cops. He's in the middle of feeding the kid, and he goes to jail.
I think
That's why I said you go to your lawyer and you file for full custody, and you give your supporting reasons why. No judge is going to look at a woman who can't put food in her fridge, who only has 50% custody of her child, and say the child should stay with the mother in poverty. No, the judge is going to be like, he doesn't owe you money because you guys have 50-50, so there's no support for him to pay, but he could support the child more than you, and the child will go to the father.
All right, so let me hop in here. Ro, what are you trying to say? My bad.
Actually, hop in. Mine's kind of a topic shift, so go ahead.
No, it's okay.
I mean, I've seen it. Like I said, I've seen it on both ends. I've seen dads get their custody, but I've also seen far too many men in that situation not have enough time before it all goes awry. Like it's not a quick scenario. Like it's not okay, lawyer, we need full custody. 6 weeks from now, we now have that kid. No, it is depending on how much scorn that woman has, how much power she actually has, and how much support she can gain from the system. And I've seen it happen to crappy men doing that too. I've watched mothers who are better, more responsible with their kids. And because they were either ineffectual as a parent, postpartum problems and stuff like that at the beginning, their kids were taken from them. Then the kid gets up in a half abusive home, and because the father has more financial responsibility, he now has full custody. There's nothing she can do. So I've seen both. I'm not saying you're incorrect, Jones. I'm saying it is responsible for you to go there and take your kid, but that is not in today's market. That doesn't happen. We're talking about a stopgap that's literally months, if not years away, depending on how scornful the other person is. Because if the other person wants to be a real dickhead, bro, you'll never see your kid. Some people, you will never see them. If it's a 50-50, you might have a little bit more grace. But
hey, cool. Chill for 1 sec. Go ahead.
And I think that kind of leads to this statement that I was going to get at, the fact that it's disappointing that these scenarios are derived from inadequacies from the parents and the adults taking responsibility on the degree of their relationship. And they create these scenarios knowing that that is a possibility. I find it a little challenging, especially in today's day and age, with all the options to manage yourself and all the things that we're aware of comes with the implications and the activations of having children, that people are engaging in that. And then it's just like, oh, we can't deal with the situation appropriately. Like splitting it 50-50, taking on the responsibilities, being able to know that, hey, our focus should go towards the children, so that shouldn't be a question. Because it goes to like what you were saying, as a man, I want to make sure that my kids are okay. Mm-hmm. If the relationship was maintaining that and saying, okay, you know what, we fucked up, right? But now we have to operate in the best interest of the children, and primarily in that, then it wouldn't be a single resentment and saying, oh, this is just a game to kind of be like, oh, I'm subsidizing your scenario or whatever, or taking care of your lacking. We know that in a lot of cases in the system, 9 times out of 10 men make more than women. There's a few scenarios where they make more than us, right? And we all know, like, when you're entering a relationship, it's rare that a woman who makes more is the topic a little while ago. Women don't date down, right? So
I haven't seen it much, so yeah, you're right.
Most of the time, they're going to be dating up. They're going to be looking for somebody who's at the same status level or above. So it's going to be rare in a scenario where, there's going to be that discrepancy in maintaining a certain lifestyle for the children post-relationship, right? So it's like we could avoid this all if we encourage people, instead of figuring out how the system should work in people's favor in regards to engaging the relationship appropriately. I think even when it comes to divorce, you should prove that you've gone through every step. Unless it's something like clearly marked, like violence or abuse or something like that. It should be like, okay, did you guys go to therapy? Did you try this? Did you do that?
Checklist.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay, now you can file for a divorce. And opposed to being like, you know what? I don't feel the love anymore. Irreconcilable differences. Okay. And then you're starting from a deficit of like, oh, okay, woman's going to get custody and stuff like that. Like back in the day, when a divorce happened, the man got the kids. Automatic. The woman had to prove that the man was a bad thing because 9 times out of 10 the man was
I think it was the 60s is when that started to change.
the man was the financial breadwinner. So it's just like, why would you create a scenario where you're putting the children in a deficit? They're the next generation, so you're putting them in a scenario where they're going to have the best opportunity, right? And also when it comes to that dichotomy, divorce was frowned upon because it looked bad on both parties. You didn't want to be a divorcee, especially a woman. You didn't want to be someone who's just like, oh, I was in a relationship. Oh, I got divorced. What happened? Like, you'd rather be a widower.
Yeah.
So we've run into a scenario where we've made all those components okay, and now we're seeing the fallout of it and being like you said, vindictive behavior. You coming in and saying, oh, I have to rescue my children because of the fact that the mother's inadequate. It's just like, yo, she's kind of operating on the same fire as before. The only difference is now you have a responsibility that ties you to them until the end of time.
Well, here's a scenario. I'm going to ask all three of you. You're not a father, but you two are. How much are you willing to sacrifice to maintain the relationship with your kids? Are you willing to placate to this woman's like irrational behavior just to see your kids, or is enough and you're just not willing to fight the battle? Like how much, because there's a lot of men out there who are literally just dealing with stubborn, or women who are dealing, like partners who are dealing with very stubborn people and who literally just know they're not going to let the other person win in any way, shape, or form. How much is enough? Like 50 Cent, perfect example. Like his whole tumultuous relationship with his son, not being able to see him because the mother kept the kid all those years. She basically made his son hate him all these years by saying that he's a deadbeat, he doesn't want to be around you, but the whole time 50 was fighting to be around him, even bought him a store, did all of this stuff, but because of this scorn that his mother has for him, it destroyed the relationship. How much is enough?
I personally wouldn't know what that kind of relationship is like, because no matter what kind of problems I've had, the mother of my children I've always been a good dad. My personal problems never got into the way of.
Never interfered with that.
Never interfered with that because I've been like, I'm active. My kids know me, and the way I am with my kids, for me to not be there, it's not because of me. You know what I mean? So you can't really, I don't know. I've always maintained a pretty good line of communication with the mothers of my children, so I've never really had those problems. Anything they need, they ask, they get it. It's that simple.
No, that's a good way of rebutting, Krishan.
I can answer the question because I live a completely.
I can't either. That's why I asked. I can't. I'm in a situation where I can't see my life without my kid. I can't do it. It doesn't. That's like breathing to me. So I don't know what it is. Like what is too much?
I mean, it's good that you guys are sitting here and saying that you'd fight for your children and stuff like that, because that's supposed to be the way it is, right? Anybody who's going to give you an alternative response is just then you fucked up. You shouldn't be in a situation to have kids, or you should understand that having children is a huge responsibility, right? Off the cuff. You shouldn't be planting seeds if you're not prepared for that potential outcome. With that being said, I know if Roma was here, she'd be saying, you know what, there's a lot of men who put up with bullshit in their relationships, right? It's one of those things where it's just a lot of things don't favor the relationship in general, especially for men, right? Whether or not it's the financial burden, the emotional aspects. We're talking about non-violent, aggressive relationships, just the belittlement, the challenges, all this sort of stuff. And the fact of the matter is, like we were referring to, the system's not in their favor, right? There's almost an inherent fear. The more you get deep in the relationship, at any time, it could just be thrown out the window. Right? Your wife can just wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm tired of you, or I have regret about what we did in our relationship or whatever, and I'm going to call it quits because I don't love you the same way anymore, and it's all that kind of stuff. And men are still in that mentality that it's just now she's going to take 50% of my stuff, and I'm going to have to pay for this kid, whether or not I get custody or not, 100%, and all that shit stuff in the fighting, and it goes back to that. So it's one of those things where it's just the energy. Instead of people being oh, we should tolerate this and we should make it socially acceptable and stuff like that, there should be a certain degree of conditioning that goes into relationship. I almost feel when you get married or when you become common law, there should be an equal dowry. Like, oh, you make X amount of dollars. Okay, you have to put towards like 10 or 15% of your income for that year. You can pay it over time towards a central account. And whoever cries wolf first, the other person gets awarded that money.
Shit, son, that's a pretty good video, bro. That's pretty good.
It's one of those things where it's just like you.
Hold on, I'm gonna interrupt here. Just the fact that you have to jump through leaps and bounds like that with the girls that you're talking about tells me that you guys shouldn't be marrying them in the first place. Like, I think one of the major problems that relationships have right now is that everyone's always in a rush to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna bring Roma up for this. Roma asked me one time, she's like, how the hell has your relationship worked the way it does, and how have you guys been together so long, or whatever? What else, right? It's because we dated for a long ass time. Mm-hmm. I know people who dated for 3 months. She got pregnant and they got married 4 months later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't know who that person is.
No, that's ridiculous. Like, I remember hearing this on a podcast, and I totally believe it. It's just like, bro, you start with a girl, the first thing you should do is go on a vacation and see how they move.
The first thing you should do is put her in water, and then you go on vacation.
Bars.
Oh
she
my
melts
God.
first. No truer words have ever been spoken.
What do you mean? What is she?
All I'm saying is
what is she sweet like sugar, and she just melts because she falls apart?
Then you want her.
Regin, you don't want a saccharin sugar, that. Yo, Regin, you want rock sugar. Tough enough to stand up in the hotness.
That's the thing, right? Like, and I guess in my academic or like relationship pursuits, I kind of put that mentality down and saying, you know what, there has to be, and I'm just going to use this to move the conversation forward, like a gauntlet to kind of go through to the next stages. Because hold on.
For what?
Can I finish?
No.
Can I finish?
Go ahead, finish.
You're saying you have to put in a certain amount of time. You put in time.
Yeah, you don't need a gauntlet.
Well, you're kind of doing it anyways. There's certain achievements that are being unlocked before you're like, hey, you know what? I can be comfortable in this relationship before I commit to it.
Okay.
Yeah, the same thing. I just said for lack of better terms, right? You're saying that these people are entering a relationship and they're so driven to be with somebody either by social pressures or they're trying to fulfill a timeline or a mandate, or they're in a race. Maybe they're competing against family members or friends. So they're like, oh, we need to go from relationship to steady to move in to be married to have kids and stuff like that. I know girls who are like that. It's wild.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, okay, but if you're not being responsible along the way, whether or not it's like, you know, pushing them in the water and making sure they turn into sugar or whatever, then you're not being responsible. You're not giving yourself the chance, and you're not putting in the necessary work to build a relationship with these people. And then as a result, right, like, it's expendable. At the same token, you haven't invested enough to sit here and say, you know what, maybe I should stick it out. It's been a certain amount of time. Maybe I'll put in a little bit of work. Right?
Bro, I think where you're going wrong in this whole conversation is that, guy, we live in 2024. We're in the future. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to marry one person. There's different countries. Get married in multiple countries.
Different area codes.
So first of all, hear me out here. You guys are laughing, but hear me out.
This guy is the devil's right-hand man, bro. I keep saying, this guy is the devil's right-hand man,
bro. I know that you, let me take my glass off here. You have an appreciation for Premier League soccer. Why not have a girl in Manchester? You could be married to that girl for 6 years and also have a girl in India so you can watch cricket matches. When you don't want to watch the cricket matches, you come back home to Canada. You don't bring those two girls here because you say you're on work trips and you have your family here. When your family here starts to annoy you, then you go visit the other ones.
Yo,
right?
What in the Elon Musk goes on in your head? I want to know.
No, this is
I want to know what kind.
Back.
What?
So this goes back to Coley.
What kind of money is this man making?
No, hold on. This goes back to your two guys' points. Then you hope that the other two wives have boyfriends who take care of the kids and them, so that way there's cost savings as well.
Relationship outsourcing.
Yo, you know what I hear? You know what I hear when this guy talks? How to get an STD. Ask Rashawn. I want my wife to have a boyfriend who has a side chick so that I can fuck 25 people every time I fuck her. Let me just go catch an STD.
No, he's outsourcing. I'm quite certain he finds all these like side mans to take care of his women on Fiverr. I need a man to take care of this woman in India. Please apply.
Hold on, hear me out. You said that you're a fan of Andrew Tate. If I've learned anything from him, it's to achieve the most. One wife is not the most.
If I learned for anything from Andrew Tate, it's accountability and discipline.
Exactly.
Oh, bro. Of course you would learn that. Of course that's what you would take from
You're
me.
falling for the North American feminist mentality. You don't need to go down this road, bro. You could be saved if you just look into the light.
Yo, I don't like to have sex with a condom on, and the lifestyle you are suggesting will ensure that I catch an STD at some point.
You know, I read an article early this week on polygamy, and it was saying how like like the next generation is embracing that, having multiple.
They're not embracing shit. All it is the girls get to do what they want while the guys have to stay home and keep quiet. Don't fall for the social media traps. Guy, I've been doing the research for the past 10 seconds. I actually flipped my
field research.
I flipped my phone open and it said Samsung and I closed it. So after that research was done, I've learned that the girls who want to have a what's it called? I can't even say it because it's foolishness. That's why. But those girls just want to have fun. But what happens is it backfires on them, and the guys have fun, and then they get cheese, and then that's why the divorce rate is much higher than it normally was before, because girls don't know what they want. Victory for us. That's all I'm saying. And with that being said, like, subscribe, add comments and stuff.
You're a dirtbag.
and let us know where you're hiding. If you're under this man, blink twice if you need help.